hello and a very warm welcome to Daily Dispatch, a show that gives you all the latest news and updates from the digital ecosystem. I'm Priya Sheth. Thank you so much for logging in. Time now to get you all the top news stories that we've been tracking for you this evening. Well, Paytm Payments Bank has received approval from the Securities and Exchange Board of India, which is SEBI, for the payment mandate of IPO applications through its Unified Payments Interface handle. Now, the bank has said that these steps will benefit millions of users to invest in capital markets through various brokerage platforms using their Paytm UPI handle. Well, moving on to the second headline of the day, Ratan Tata has acquired stake in Pritish Nandi Communications through market purchases last week. Now, this investment has been made in Tata's personal capacity. Pritish Nandi Communications was founded in September 1993 and it began as a TV content boutique and has made many news and entertainment shows over the last few years. Well, Femtech company Say Cheese has raised an undisclosed amount via seed funding. Now, this seed round pegs the valuation of the startup at 10 crore rupees. Now, launched in December 2020, Say Cheese claims to have acquired over 2,650 registered users from all across India. Well, moving on to the final headline of the day, reports suggest that credit card repayment platform Cred is all set for a major bump up in its valuation as it raises a new round of funding that may propel the Kunal Shah founded startup into a unicorn. Now, the company is in talks to mop up around $200 million in a round which will see participation from new investors, and this could value the company at about $2 billion.
Well, moving on to our second segment, I have with me someone who has just been launching a fund this year and has raised quite a bit of money already. I have with me Ritu Verma from Ankur Capital. Thank you very much for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by asking you about your new fundraise, 330 crore rupees already in. How difficult was that?
Fundraising is always difficult. So having said that, I think we were pretty lucky to have a lot of backers, especially backers that were coming back from Fund 1. So that helped a lot in sort of kind of mobilizing money. Yeah, so, always difficult, but not so bad.
In terms of what the fund is going to be deployed into, because I do understand that you have a Fund 1 that was specifically deployed in the agri as well as the healthcare space. So if you could give us some details about this fund in terms of where it's going to be deployed and the average ticket size that you're looking at.
Absolutely. So, technically, the Even Fund 1 was sector agnostic. This fund is also sector agnostic. I think what our focus or our investment thesis here is that we believe that technology and disruptive technology and deep tech technologies have a lot of interesting opportunities in the next billion Indians. So we're looking at the mass of India and we're saying that there is a lot of interesting things that can happen with a lot of these technologies. We saw some of it play out in ag tech and health through Fund 1. We are agnostic to sectors. We are more market focused. Sectors is really not where we are as focused. So we expect to be deploying this across sectors. We've already deployed in 4 companies so far, and they've crossed from ag tech to fintech to health. So I think it'll be broad based. Coming back to your question on size, I think, we're looking, our first checks are anywhere between, we continue to be very, very early stage investors. The name Ankur is seed. And so hence seed round fundings is sort of what we've done in the past and will continue to do. So our first checks are anywhere between $500,000 up to $1 million into companies. We can follow on and support companies up to about 5 million. But first checks will continue to be in that range.
350 crore rupees has been the target of this fund. So are you leaving that as, something that you're going to be looking at closing, 350 crore?
Absolutely. So we're actually, most likely to close this higher than that. Essentially, the paperwork stuff is in progress and by June we should hopefully we have this all wrapped up.
All right, we're going to be looking forward to that. But I want to begin, by asking you about the macro environment, and I want to understand from your perspective, how have things changed between 2020 and 2021? Do you think that, in terms of the kind of cash that's been chasing startups, do you think that there's more cash in the market now?
Seems like it from our perspective. Very early stage, check sizes are larger, lots of people interested in it. So I think, I saw 2020 as like, okay, things were starting out business as usual. Then we had this kind of black swan event that threw everybody off for like 2-3 months or so, right? And then people said, okay, what the hell, I'm going to get back to work and we're going to start doing what we have to do. And so that momentum picked up. And I think that's just picking up. It's keeping on going. So 2021, I think, is taking the latter half of 2020 and just building on top of that. We see a lot of deals being done. We see a lot of people actively in the market to invest. So it should be an exciting year.
Yeah, as we speak, capital from China has dried up in the Indian market. Do you think that's a challenge, when it comes to fundraising? And do you think there's more participation from domestic investors that now?
So I have seen a lot of, I think from a quantum, it will still be hard, right? Because the pockets are just not deep enough. But very interestingly, we are seeing some very interesting domestic participation happening. One of our companies is right now raising, and this should be public shortly. But from a large industrial house in India, which is looking to leverage its capabilities in helping support the company to grow. Right now, we didn't see this 3-4 years back, so I suspect we're going to see more of that. However, I still think the quantums are not catching up with what the Chinese had in the market. So that's still a ways to go. But positively, they're engaging, they're excited, they're putting in some capital, they're looking to leverage their expertise. And I think that's a positive sign.
What's your view on valuations now? Do you think that valuations are perhaps at the highest that they've been in the last couple of years? And what kind of trajectory do you think valuations are going to, follow in the year ahead?
Things go up, they come down. So, I think valuations are pretty high in the market right now. And I think, there is so I think one thing the pandemic did, right, was to push digital, right? So what people saw as a longer runway, they see as a shorter runway. Right. So hence money as well as, what companies are raising, all have sort of, reaching new kinds of paradigms here, essentially. Right. Especially as far as digital and digital penetration, kind of digital enablement, digitization, the gamut of it all, digitally led commerce, healthcare, all of that kinds of education, of course, as you see. Right. So I think there is a momentum here on digital adoption. And I think every funder wants to say, and every entrepreneur wants to say that we need to be capturing it while this is, customers and consumers are quite happy to do this today as opposed to yesterday, right? Having said that, I think there are still ground realities that are to be met. So if growth doesn't meet the expectations that the capital is coming with, there will be slowdowns in valuation that must happen, right? So I think it is a little high, right? Probably we will see some corrections later, but right now I think it's still on the high.
What is your perspective on exits? Are more people looking at exits more seriously, considering that if valuations are higher, then even returns will be higher via exits?
So I think exits depends on who's willing to offer liquidity, right? And so I think one of the challenges is when things are so high, the liquidity, especially coming from sort of strategic investors, etc., who, typically don't play this game unless somewhere it's a huge value to them, right? So I think personally for me, the jury on exits is still, I don't see exits necessarily, is still an easy piece in the Indian market. I still think that that's a hard thing. I think, again, a lot of companies, very traditional old brick and mortar companies, are realizing that they have to kind of get into the digital play, right? So, I mean, we heard about the Tatas buying Big Basket and sort of that whole thing, realizing that, look, we have to be in that space, right, if we're going to sort of play in this market. So I think, again, the pandemic has forced a lot of people to accelerate what they may have been in wait and watch kind of mode. But still, the valuation piece of it, especially with those kind of exits, has not yet caught up, I would say.
A final question before I let you go, in terms of what are the 2 to 3 big trends that you see that are panning out in this space at large?
So, I mean, digital is undeniably a trend, right? I mean, whether you call it hybrid, phygital or completely digital, I think that's definitely something that we see across everything, right? Basically, yeah. I think there's a couple of other interesting things, right? And they come more from the deep tech side, right? And so there is a bit more of deep tech companies happening in such interesting areas. One of these is sort of biotech, right? And where typically, we haven't really seen that much stuff happen in India, but actually we sit on a lot of interesting and a lot of very capable talent here in order to do that. So you see some interesting things kind of happening on that front. Yeah. So I'm bullish to sort of see that come up. I also see another thing that has happened in the market of the ecosystem is that there's been a lot of diversification. People looking at other sectors, right? So as you said, we did invest a lot into ag tech out of Fund 1. We see a lot more breadth in investments into ag tech. So I think investors have also diversified stuff that they are taking a look at. And so, these are the couple of things that I sort of see happening in the market, interesting things that we'll see how they pan out. The digital, of course, is, I think, here to stay. There is no second thought about that piece here.
All right. On that note, many thanks for sharing with us all your insights about the investment environment and the way forward. It's been a pleasure having you with us on the Daily Dispatch. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, Priya. Nice to chat with you.
Time now to say goodbye. Many thanks for joining us on this edition of the Daily Dispatch. I'll see you tomorrow at 5 p.m. Goodbye and see you tomorrow.